Namaste and welcome to Pioneers of Storytelling, a show where in every episode I will bring to you an exclusive interview with an architect of storytelling. The idea behind my show is not to showcase glamour, but it is to bring to you stories of off-screen superstars, stars who are the real pioneers of storytelling. Like camera, sound is a very important and crucial film technique, and a professional sound recordist is one of the most respected person in a film crew. So today I have with me Shri Narinder Singh, the renowned sound expert who is a gold medalist from FTII and has worked with all the famous film directors like SATYAJIT RAY, MRINAL SEN, BASU CHATTERJEE, GULZAR and many more. So welcome again and let's together chat with Shri Narinder Singh. Namaste Narinder ji, and thank you so much for coming on my show.
Namaste. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Narinder ji, you've done more than 250 films, but when and with which film did this journey begin?
After my graduation from University of Delhi, I went to FTI Pune, and after I graduated, I was invited here in Bombay, and with Mr. Ramanand Sagar, he was making a film called Aankhein. So I took up that film. Simultaneously, we were part of the Film Society movement in Bombay.
Okay.
We used to see all the international, since we were exposed already at the FTI to international cinema. So our interest was there, and quite a few of our colleagues, those who had passed up from there, my seniors as well as my colleagues. So they were all together in it. And at that very time, they started Film Finance Corporation, which is now NFDC. They started financing meaningful cinema, and quite a few people applied for them and they got a loan. What was the princely sum to make a film in black and white those days was 2.5 lakhs.
Okay.
2.5 lakhs. So this is how the journey began. We did lots of films like BASU Chatterjee's Sara Akash, which was based on a published work of Manu Bhandari of the same name. And then Mani Kaul's Uski Roti, which was based on Mohan Rakesh's book of the same name. And Kumar Shani's Tarang. It's a different experience altogether.
Satyajit Ray is one of the greatest filmmakers that we have had. And you had the opportunity to work with him on his masterpiece, SHATRANJKEKHILARI. So how was it to work with him?
Oh, that was great,
And it's well known that he was very systematic and particular about things. So did you feel the same?
What I found about Satyajit Ray was that he took the minutest details into consideration. Like the selection of the camera. Since he's basically from the advertising background, he saw the drawings of the sets, and I think Mr. Bansi Chandragupta, who was his art director, one of the world-renowned art directors, all his drawings were kept in the Paris Museum. Costume-wise, different costumes, like policemen, these officers, all the pictures, they got it from British Museum. Some of the things were actually brought on loan. Richard Attenborough, when he came from there, he brought a lot of, original things from there, like the caps and uniforms, etc. from there. And as far as Indian side was concerned, I found these two Nawabs, Saeed Jafri and Mr. SANJEEVKUMAR. They were wearing shawls which costed those days in lakhs.
Okay.
They had got from the Nawab's family. They used the original jewelry, gold and diamonds, which on a personal kind of a guarantee, he had brought it from Nawab of Murshidabad. He would bring it in his own bag and carry it back with him.
Satyajit Ray.
You see Satyajit Ray, you see his script. Every shot was designed. The frame was designed. So If he tells the cameraman, he has no problem. He was operating the camera himself. He would oversee the music himself. He was a music composer himself. Choice of instruments was also his. And he was conducting the show I found in HME Studios, Calcutta. There is a Kathak sequence in the film. And they called Birju Maharaj and his associate Shashwati Devi. They were performing. And they gave a demo first that this is how we are composing this particular piece. Once, twice they did it. And this was to be performed by Amjad Khan. And Amjad Khan, I knew him from Bombay, we were quite close to him. So he was standing next to me. He was just puffing a cigarette after 2-3 rehearsals. So he said, Ray Saab said, okay, you try. So he said, sure. He went on the stage and performed. And he was shocked, literally, pleasantly shocked. He said, my God, you can do that? There were claps the way he was performing. And this is rehearsal. And unfortunately, what had happened before the start of this film, Amjad Khan had met with an accident, a very serious accident, which was near fatal. Actually, the steering bent into his chest. And it took him quite some time. And this film was delayed because of him. Satyajit Ray said, it will be either Amjad Khan or no Shatranjkekhilari. But when he recovered because of steroids, he had put on weight and all. And then the kind of grace he showed. And he told me later on, he said, don't think anybody can learn Kathak like this. I picked up the salient features and performed, and everybody clapped. This is how he was.
Okay. The visuals of the film were a cinematic pleasure. And with the historic backdrop, the setting and characterization, handling sound for that film must have been an amazing but an equally tough experience. So can you recollect any particular scene or experience related to that?
Look, my period की सबसे handicap तो मुझे हुई, because this set was erected in a studio called Inderpuri Studios, which is one of the oldest studios in India, if not the oldest.
Okay.
And my misfortune was, on one side was the train station, local train station, Tollygunj, and the other side was the tram terminus. And the studio is not soundproof. There were ton, 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 and there is a horn of the train coming in. So that was hell of a job for me. And those days, technology-wise, there is not much of equipment available. We didn't have proper tapes. Then he told me one day that he wants to record Shehnai music. Some 8 to 10 piece Shehnai piece, Where do we do it? I want to do it. I did it in Lucknow's this hotel. In that room, I play with one microphone. There is a Shehnai, there is a drum, there is a doogie, there is some other accompaniment coming upon. Simply going by the ear judgment, I placed them differently, and with one microphone, I recorded. I did that. And the piece of the cake was, after the shoot in Lucknow, they said Saeed Jaffrey is going back to England. So there were some scenes where the noise could be heard. So that they had to be dubbed. It was decided there and then, because these portions will be dubbed. I did the recording in his bedroom. Manik Das' bedroom. How we did it, I recorded all the takes. You see, Manik Das used to take a lot of takes.
Okay.
There's one shot that could be 10 takes. Another shot from another angle could be 10 takes or 8 takes, And they said, I don't know which one I'll keep. Or maybe one half from here, half from there, a line from here, a line from there. So you have to dub all the lines. I said, okay. So I transferred everything on a cassette recorder. Each take, marked them, tabulated them, made an announcement, played it to him, small pieces. say one line, two line, asked him to get the rhythm of it. And the counter of Saeed Jafri was Sanjeevkumar. It had to be done in Bombay. So we did it in Bombay. Can anybody make out?
Okay. From the kind of interactions I've had with you, I feel that the time when you ruled the sound world, the atmosphere within the industry was very supportive and friendly. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely, absolutely, indeed. Everybody would sit together, wish each other, sit at the same table for lunch, share your problems, share your worries, and there were jokes with each other, like even the juniors, lightmen joking with the hero or heroine. Today, everybody is just confined to their vanity vans. They go over there and.
I remember you also telling me about MRINAL Sen and his wife.
MRINAL Sen, we were shooting outside Calcutta in a village. And my assistant, who had come with me, he belonged to that village, and so we were quite comfortable there. And we were living in a school. You can understand in a village school, we were all parked and they had made a makeshift kitchen there. And we were eating. In our unit, all were Bengalis, excepting three of us. Myself, cameraman, KK Mahajan. We passed out together and both were gold medalists, of the same batch. And KK's assistant, HK Verma. Three people, Punjabis, caught amongst Bengalis, And one day, MRINAL Sen's wife, GITA, she came on the set. And so we just, she was a lovely lady, absolutely. She went to the kitchen, saw this, and she reprimanded the caterer and said, how the hell you feeding these boys, Bengali food? Probably they are not relishing it. So give them the right kind of food. So from next day onwards, you find there was a special dish for us, three of us. And then for sometimes we were in their house also. And you see, I wear a turban and I do my beard. Those days I used to roll it, and wear a net. That would take 10 minutes. So it normally would take about 20 minutes in the bathroom when I was dressing up. So one day, Gita saw me when I came from the bathroom. I was sweating. She saw it. She didn't like it. But by evening when we came back, there was a fan in the bathroom. So this is the kind of care they had. And so much so the kind of relationship that we had with MRINAL Sen. He came and stayed with us. He was an early riser. He will make tea and serve us. That's the kind of character he was. So knowledgeable. So the kind of influence that we carry, I think it's partly from him too.
You have always been proud about your punctuality. But did the actors and directors of that time respect time the same way?
I was doing a film with, say, Sunny Deol. And he's recording inside. He tells me, we had booking till 2 o'clock. He said, who's coming after 2 o'clock? I said, PRAN Sahab is coming after 2 o'clock. He said, till he comes, can I continue? I said, continue. So I forgot about it. So we were working. Suddenly I found somebody standing behind me. I turned back, it was PRAN Sahab. And then intuitively I looked at the watch. It was exactly 2 o'clock. Not that he has got down at 2 o'clock from the car, entered the studio. He's in the recording room at 2 o'clock. That's that. That's the kind of people, this. And Dr. SHRIRAMLAGOO, tell them 7 in the morning, 7 o'clock. SHASHIKAPOOR, we had to do a scene where he had to be executed. SHASHIKAPOOR. So we went, the director, cameraman, myself, we went to wherever he was shooting, tell him that tomorrow we want to shoot at such and such place. And we want you a little early because the execution is done before sunrise. So it has to be before sunrise. Just, what time you want me there? He said 6 o'clock. I'll be there. From that studio, his house was good 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers. I was living in Bandra on Mount Mary. Me and the cameraman, we were staying together. We took a cab, reached there while we were About to enter the gate, approaching the gate, we found his car was ahead of us.
You praise Rajesh Khanna a lot.
Because I'll tell you, he came to the set, he was producing his own film. He came to the set, and while I think some makeup was being done or something was happening, so he said, "Yeah, chai pilao." तो कोई चाय नहीं पिलाई किसी ने उसको. दूसरी बार कहा, फिर चाय नहीं पिलाई किसी ने. So then he called his secretary. He said, "What the hell? I have asked कि चाय पिलाओ. I am coming from another shoot and all. तो अगर मेरा ये हालत है तो यूनिट को तो तुम क्या करते होगे? उनको तो भूखे मारते होगे तुम." And he has nowhere to look. सब नेक्स्ट डे से क्या होता था कि सेट के ऊपर शूटिंग हो रही है, नहीं हो रही है, there'll be tea served, there'll be somebody coming with a tray of coffee, and just behind the coffee tray there is a tray of Coca-Cola, and then somebody is bringing cut fruit. Constantly somebody is bringing biscuits or cake pieces. How many people think like that? I've seen a big producer, I won't name him, putting his arm around the caterer, and saying, "यार पैसे कम करो, तुम पैसे बहुत ज्यादा ले रहे हो, कम करो पैसे." उस सेट में मैं कहा खाना कितना अच्छा खिलाता हूँ, कभी कम पड़ा है या नहीं, कम पैसे करो यार. He left. He said, "No, I don't want to."
I think even VINODMEHRA was a very good human being.
He was so good, no pretension. We were shooting a song on him. So, see, there are certain things which are not in our hand, my hand particularly. The producer or the production controller, they hire equipment from outside. So they brought some junk of an amplifier and the speaker. So the sound was not good. And he was quite discriminating kind of a listener. He said, "What is this?" I said, "This is what they have brought." Next day, he came to me in the morning. He said, "यार किसी को भेज दो मेरी गाड़ी से, तुम्हारे लिए स्पीकर लेके आऊं अपना, घर से एक बड़ा फैंसी सा स्पीकर लेके आ, यार कुछ अच्छा लगेगा."
Nothing big, but even I've had these little experiences that I can never forget. Like when I was doing my master's, Shammi Kapoor had gone out of the way to help me with my AV project. And I used to live in Pali Hills, so on and off I would go and meet Devanand. And when I'd got married, he had personally called my dad to congratulate him.
Desa was also a wonderful human being, wonderful human being. I'll tell you something, it might be of some interest to you. BR Theatre, which was the first rock and roll theatre here in Bombay, the first feature film was mine over there that we dubbed. They opened another studio. The first feature film again there was mine. And there was a third studio opened by Dharamji. So that too, it happened that one of my films was there. Devanand was making a studio. तो मैं उन दिनों एक सीरियल कर रहा था, श्रीकांत फिल्म, इट्स अ नॉवेल बाय शरद चंद्र. तो वो फिल्म कर रहा था, उसकी डबिंग करनी थी, डिले हो गई. जब इनका स्टूडियो आनंद वाज बुक्ड, पाली हिल पे इनका स्टूडियो है ना आनंद, तो मैं गया तो देव साहब में लेकर ले, वी वर वेटिंग फॉर यू कि आप शुरू करो. कैन यू इमेजिन? तो उनके साथ फिर एक फिल्म भी की थी मैंने. वो इतने बढ़िया इंसान, पंक्चुअल आना करना जो भी है, lovely person, lovely human being, and always an inspiration to be with them. The way he walked erect, so it gave us inspiration. I mean, I started walking like that. एक तो मैं वैसे भी फौजियों की कंपनी में रहा हूँ, तो मैं भी सीधा चल रहा हूँ, उनकी चलना बिल्कुल एक्टिव. कोई फिल्म में कहते हैं, "What film flop? I'm thinking of the next one." No, it's over. That was Dev Saab.
I recollect you telling me about Shashi Kapoor also.
Shashi Kapoor, as I told you, he remembered names of everybody. He used to call me Nanda. So I just before he died, he retired. He was sitting at Prithvi Theatre in the restaurant there. I saw him and I went up to him, because you have such a regard for a person like him. And I wished him. He said, "Hello, Narinder, how are you?" My God, I was meeting him after years. And sit down, have a cup of coffee, vagara, vagara. And then somebody was trying to fleece him again. He said, "Sir, मैं मरने से पहले एक picture बनाना चाहता हूँ." So he said, "Do not ask me to finance you. You people have made me bankrupt, to make stupid films. I don't want to bankroll you, So this is what he said. Shashi Kapoor, Shami Kapoor, Sanjeev Kumar, absolutely, meaning कोई उनकी hypocrisy नहीं उस बंदे में. और वो डबिंग में तो ऐसे मास्टर थे कि पूछिए मत. And he could take jokes on himself. He had a heart attack. He was in the hospital, and after some time he was all right. So naturally, when you are in hospital, there is a restriction about your eating and drinking. And I didn't tell you, he was very fond of eating non-vegetarian. Being a Gujarati, they were not allowed to eat at home the non-vegetarian food. So anyway, so he was very fond of eating non-vegetarian. And so naturally you put on weight. So hospital, they did not allow, and then after there were certain restrictions. And after a few months he came, he was dubbing, and when he was seeing and looking at the film, he said, "This is after my heart attack. Look how good I look, how smart I look, And he said, "I think after 6 months बाद एक heart attack हो जाना चाहिए." No, he's taking it as a joke. Though he had actually a fear in his mind because no man in their family crossed 50 years. And all three brothers passed away before their 50. AMOLPALEKAR, till date he's a friend. You see, as we did a lot of work together, like I'm having as a burger, say, "Give me a bite." That kind of a camaraderie. Today, any function of theirs, he had this, after so many years, he was performing on stage at Tata Theatre. He called, his wife called, "I'm performing, I want you to be there particularly." Another person I hardly mentioned to you was Vidyasinha. वो हमारा रिलेशन बड़ा करीब हो गया, आना जाना, घर में मिलना. और फिर finally something happened to us. She left the industry and went to Pune, settled down. फिर उसके हस्बैंड की डेथ हो गई. She came to Bombay. फिर मिले, उसने जब सेकंड टाइम उसने शादी की तो आई थिंक वो करा के आई थी. तो शी सेड के घर पे हो. मैंने कहा हाँ. खाना खिलाओगे? मैंने कहा हाँ. कल मैंने शादी कर लिया. ठीक है, आ जाओ. तो उसका हस्बैंड, ही वाज डॉक्टर, इंडियन डॉक्टर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया. तो वो आया, तो उनके साथ भी हमारा रिश्ता वैसे बनना शुरू हो गया. एंड टिल हर डेथ, I mean, she called me, I was calling, she was not answering. Then she told her daughter to call him and tell him I'm not well. So obviously she wanted to meet me. So I went to meet her. She smiled, said, "Okay, hello." And 2 days later, she died.
You were even once telling me about JOHNNYLEVER and his wonderful nature.
जी, जॉनी लेवर भी बहुत बढ़िया इंसान. गुड सोल जिसे कहना चाहते हैं, प्योर सोल. One day, in one of the films, I didn't go to the shoot because I was not well. And he asked my assistant, "Where is your boss?" He said, "He's not well." He said, "Phone करो उसको." तो मुझे फोन किया तो मैंने कहा कि भैया क्या हो गया? मैंने कहा ऐसे ऐसे हो रहा, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही क्या है. अच्छा ऐसा करो, होल्ड करो फोन, डिस्कनेक्ट नहीं करना, आई एम गोइंग टू प्रे फॉर यू. मैंने फोन होल्ड पे रखा. वो 3-4 मिनट के बाद उसने रखा, बाय करके चले गए. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, आई फेल्ट बेटर.
Out of so many films, is there any scene that you have found most challenging?
We were shooting for MAACHIS. In Kullu Manali, we had put up a set by the side of River Beas. तो एक सीन था, रात को करना था वहां पे the hero चंद्रचूड़ सिंह is sitting outside, by the river, उन्हें पत्थर के ऊपर बैठे हुए। तो ये खाना लेके आती है, वो उसको कह रही है खाना खा लो, वो खाता नहीं है करते हुए। तो उससे बात पूछता है कि हाँ तेरे भाई का क्या हाल है। अच्छा, फिर तीसरा कैरेक्टर आ जाता है, शी सिटिंग अवे फ्रॉम हिम, वेरी मच अवे, एंड एट नाइट कैन यू इमेजिन कि पहाड़ के ऊपर नदी का साउंड कितना होता है, कुछ नहीं सुनाई देता किसी को, अपनी अपनी बात नहीं सुनाई देती, इतना नॉइज होता है पहाड़ी नदी का। और तीसरा कैरेक्टर ओमपुरी आते हैं। तो मेरे पास 2 ही माइक्रोफोन थे, कॉर्डलेस माइक्रोफोन, और पीछे जनरेटर भी था, उससे भी साउंड आ रहा है। तो मैंने 2 माइक तो दे दिए इनको। तो तीसरा तब्बू का बना, मैं क्या करूं। मैं तब्बू के पास गया, मैंने कहा भाई तब्बू, विल यू हेल्प मी। शी सेड ओके। तो मेरे पास दूसरा एक रेगुलर माइक्रोफोन होता है, नागरा के साथ होता है सेनाइजर, इतना लंबा माइक्रोफोन होता है। तो मैंने कहा कैन यू कंसील दिस इन योर स्वेटर। शी सेड ऑफ कोर्स। दैट्स हाउ द सीन वाज डन। So it is the kind of understanding with each other, and the support that you get, and the work gets done. So the challenges keep coming. आज भी आते रहते हैं। आजकल तो इतने challenges आ गए हैं, जब से डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी आई है, challenges are there कि आधे लोगों को तो पता ही नहीं है कि 24 फ्रेम्स 25 फ्रेम्स क्या है। कुछ का कुछ कर देते हैं, आधी पिक्चर हो जाती है, पता लगे तो 25 फ्रेम्स से कर दिया, 24 फ्रेम्स में नहीं किया, अब संभाल लो उसको।
Which films have you done with Gulzar, sir?
Gulzar sab, I did Ijazat, I did Lekin, I did Maachis, Ututu, and I did this TV serial called Mirza Ghalib. Then there was another TV serial called Guche. Then there was a film for the hearing impaired, that was done by him. It was done in 2 versions, Hindi and Marathi. Hindi version was done by Dilip Kumar, and Marathi was done by Dr. SHRIRAMLAGOO.
And Basu ji ke saath?
बासु के साथ तो की सारा आकाश, रजनीगंधा, एंड छोटी सी बात, प्रियतमा, उस पार, आई डोंट रिकॉल सो मेनी अदर फिल्म्स। बड़ी एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, व्हेन द फिल्म वाज लॉन्च्ड, this was launched by Suresh Jindal. It was launched during Shraddh.
Okay.
Now it's considered to be very inauspicious. So हमारे एक रूंगटा साहब होते थे, he was the biggest financer cum producer of that era. He said, are you mad? He said, son, I don't believe in it. Now, Suresh Jindal is a Jaini basically, but he ate pork, he ate beef, everything. So now he's again become a sannyasi, And when there were no buyers, he said, I told you, nobody's buying. Shakti Raj में एक उनके जो manager थे, he was himself a producer. He said, okay, we can take a risk of 1.25 lakhs for this film for Bombay territory. Bombay territory included the whole of Bombay state, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Goa. It's a huge territory, 1.25 lakhs. And as it happened, by the time that one day shot was finished, that gentleman had died who had negotiated the deal. Then they said, no, we don't know anything about what he did. He had the dealing. Finally, they sold it for something like 80,000 rupees to, if I'm not mistaken, to Rajshri. And they made a huge money, a lot of money. And the Rajshri said, I will take all the territories. Give it to us. So this is Rajnigandha. चोपड़ा साहब ने उनको बुलाया, कहा कि भाई अच्छी फिल्म बनाइए, मेरे लिए फिल्म बनाओ वहां पे। उनसे तुम्हारी लास्ट फिल्म का बजट कितना था? He said 5.5 lakhs. He said मैं तुम्हें 6 देता हूँ, फिल्म बनाओ। तो उसने स्टोरी बता दी। सेम टीम, अमोल पालेकर, विद्या सिन्हा, असरानी। They said, I want to take a guest artist as Ashok Kumar is not a guest artist, quite a big character. He said, you pay for him, not me. Any other guest artist you bring? And I said, don't worry. Now, guest artist was Ashok Kumar, and there's guest artist Amitabh Bachchan also in the film. This film was started day of the launch. Chopra Sahib had sold the film and taken advance money from distributors. Choti Si Baat was a big hit. It celebrated Silver Jubilee. I got a big trophy out of that, But it gave a clear indication that times of change have come. We have to change from the regular, goody-goody, romantic, running around the trees kind of thing. You make a film which belongs here of the common person.
What is that one message that you can give to the younger generation? People who are entering filmmaking or looking at filmmaking as a career.
People, those who want to make films, they have to be serious. They have to constantly and continuously upgrade themselves, exposure, reading, writing, and seeing cinema. What kind of winds are blowing on this world? Media. No, I'm so happy now because of lockdown. The OTT platform has flourished so much. The new generation has taken over. Just like we took over, the new generation has taken over, so we shouldn't grudge. Let them take over, let them make mistakes. They will learn, they'll improve. So that I have a positive thinking on that. I took to Punjabi cinema only for the reason that they were going to do something better. Today, see, when we started doing this, Punjabi cinema was nowhere. One film in 2 years. Today they are making 60 films in 1 year or 90 films in 1 year. उसमें से कुछ अच्छी हमने मुझे एक फिल्म बनी थी. If you can see it, it's on YouTube. GIAANNU means welcome. See the film because it was made by one of the top cameramen of India.
Once again, thank you so much for coming on my show and giving me time.
Oh, not at all. And thank you very much. It's a privilege to share my views with you. Anytime you want to talk or ask me any other thing, I'm always there. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.